Venice Run Club is a run club that meets in Venice, California. We meet 3 times a week. Tuesday for a track workout, Wednesday for a Mobbin run, and Saturday for our long run.
The idea of VRC came about in August of 2020, but it started after the events of George Floyd. Now, Ahmaud Arbery happened, Breonna happened, George Floyd happened in like a 4-month period, okay? Now, after George Floyd was murdered, we had the idea of doing a fundraiser, running 48 miles in 48 hours. We did that 2 weekends in a row, raised $60,000. A month and a half later, school was starting. It was the first school year that was starting during COVID. So we did 148 miles in a month, donated money to the LAUSD grab-and-go food centers. So 2 fundraisers down, we're about $70,000 raised and donated to different nonprofits. We want to continue doing this and try and help as many people as possible, spread awareness around different social issues. So we had the idea, we called it 48 for Floyd, the first event, 48 for the kids, the second event. What's our main objective? We want to impact as much change as possible in the world. So we called it 48 for Change. We are still active today. We do that 48-mile challenge every year. So every year we're going to switch themes, but the overall goal is to impact as much change as possible. All of our fundraisers are around running. So why not focus my attention on the group of people that I had came and supported me. And whenever I did another fundraiser for the nonprofit 48 for Change, I can just tap into this community that I built. So the idea came to me, I was going to call it 48 Run Club because of 48 for Change. But then I thought, why not just call it Venice Run Club? Just call it Venice Run Club. It's a fitness-focused city. It's where I lived for the past 8 years. I ran a lot of miles in Venice, so it just seemed natural. So I created the Venice Run Club. For the first time I heard the word mobbin, I was like 5 or 6, very random. I was with like my buddies. We all had our Huffy bikes and pegs. You throw your friends on the front or the back, and we're gonna go buy some, what were they called? Some now and laters. We all hopped on them. I was riding my Huffy bike, just got it, and we're about to mob to the store, the 7-Eleven around the corner. What that meant, it was just a big group of us going to one destination. But as I got older, it's a way of life. It's your mindset. It's a focus on one goal. And when I started running with VRC, I was like, we're a small group, but we're mobbing. We're going to one destination. And as it just grew, it actually turned into like a big mob. I remember the first run I did. It was myself and my roommate Sebastian. He was downstairs making breakfast, okay? And I remember going up to him and saying, Sebastian, we have our first VRC run, our first Venice Run Club run. You were around when we did the fundraisers, so you're about to be a part of something special. I already know hella people are gonna be out there, so come run with us. Sebastian put on his shoes. They were Kyrie Irving basketball shoes because he didn't own any running shoes. And then we walked out there to the liquor store. It was nobody there. So the first run was just Sebastian and myself. After the run, we took a picture, and I remember thinking to myself, it doesn't matter if it's Sebastian's there, if no one's there, if it's just me. I'm going to show up.
I am the co-lead at Venice Run Club. I lead the club along with Justin. Justin and I actually met at Venice Run Club. We met because it was August 2020. The month the Run Club started. I think they'd been going for 2 weeks with very few people, just 3 or 5 people. And at that time, my coworker posted about it on her Instagram. So I thought, why not? I'll go. I've been running my whole life. It was the mid-pandemic, so there was like nothing to do. So I showed up, and yeah, my first interaction with Justin was him as the leader of the run.
When we started picking up a little momentum, I think we're about 2 months into the Run Club, all right? We had some loyal members that would show up every single week. They would show up to every Saturday run. They would show up to every Wednesday run, all right? And as we started to grow, people wanted to help with the Run Club. I started going to Run Club, started hanging out, and
Tim personally obviously spent a lot of his own personal time working on Run Club things, whether it be running the Instagram, creating posts, buying snacks for everyone. And I come from a background of advertising, marketing, I love creative things. It's very second nature to me, so I think that's the first thing I picked up is I was like, hey, I'll do the photos, I'll do the Instagram posts, and then from there it kind of grew more and more where I handle the marketing and the operations, kind of everything kind of internally, and he is a big, public figure. He's the one who speaks with the clubs and does partnerships.
Finding out who our members are is probably most important to me, because the way I look at it, you made the conscious decision to show up to a run club. So you're hopefully expecting to talk to somebody. My thing is though, the best way to connect with people is to break them down. Everyone needs to be vulnerable. I feel like the best way to form a connection in life, friendship, relationship, you need to be vulnerable, let your guard down, because if you always have your guard up, you can't connect with anyone.
So once we started to get a little bit bigger, we would start to introduce ourselves. I think it was your name, where you're from, how did you hear about us? And then one day Justin was what's your favorite ice cream? And then each week he would say, hey, someone pick the fourth question. And I was like, Justin, I gotta find a boyfriend, bro. Why are we asking? I don't care about their ice cream or their favorite color. Are you single? And then it just went from there.
And my question is, what's your name, your first name, and are you single? All right, I'll start with you.
I had no idea what was going to happen, and they lined up everyone on the wall. This was about 30 people, and they're like, all right, we're going to ask you some questions. And my bonus question happened to be, do your go-to dance move. And I'm like, oh my God, get me out of here. I'm going to see if I can slip away. When he asked that question, I felt like I instantly had a bond with everyone around me, because everyone had the same reaction. Everyone's guards were let down, and I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? The guy next to me was like, oh man, I'm not really a dancer. And some people are just, born with it, and they were just crushing it. Definitely felt a little looser and was able to make some friends instantly that day.
The focus that I have on the club, it definitely impacts the runners in it, because a lot of times, we do it all the time. All we do is compare ourselves with other people. Where am I at in life? Am I accomplishing as much as the next person? So imagine you're taking on a new journey, right? Running, it's new. You've never been a runner, you never identified as a runner. First thing you do is you look up other people that are doing the same thing. Do I look like them? Am I as fast as them? Am I as skinny as them, tall, whatever? So for me, and what I try and instill in them is you are on your own journey.
Venice Run Club has impacted and changed my life in numerous ways. I suffer from depression, and I have all my life. Exercise is a key component, along with the proper medication, to keep my psychology in check. But there was a really hard part during the time that I was running with them. There's a lot of side effects of being on this medication for all my life. And I went off my medication, went off my medication, and went on to the trials of this other medication, the other treatment, and it worked well for a bit, but then it didn't. And I hit probably the second lowest depression time of my life. And I never felt ashamed. I felt like I could talk to people. The exercise and the community helped me get through. It made more difference than I could put into words.
Venice Run Club, I think, has made me a lot more social. For 3 months here, I was just running by myself. I'm pretty content being by myself, but when I went to Run Club, for the first few months, I even ran by myself there. I really wasn't too chatty. People would come chat to me, and I was fine with it. But now I also coach on Tuesdays, and it's leading 200 people, so even that, public speaking is just, I would have never yelled at 200 people, and here you're trying to convince 200 people that are in their 20s that are interested in just talking to everyone else to, follow a workout. It's definitely boosted my confidence a ton and just made me a more social person overall.
You could build a whole social group just by showing up to this run club now. I feel like all of Venice goes.
Taking over the streets of Venice, it's a movement, really. It's just super cool to see how we went from 100 to 1,000.
I had never run more than, I'd done one 10-mile run, that was my longest run ever, and I wasn't training for anything. And Justin was like, come on, just run 18 miles, you can do it, it's not that hard, just do it with us. It was I had a horrible time, it was a horrible run. But after that, I was like, oh, I did it. I mean, I can do more. And so it made me more confident that way.
Venice Run Club impacts the community by bringing people together, giving people something to look forward to. For me, it's usually if I'm having not the best day, then and I'm not probably gonna make it to the gym, or I always have kind of that in the back of my head, I can get a run in, there's a route to follow, and then I can hang out with some folks after, grab a beer or whatever.
There's kind of just this aura in Venice when it hits 6:30 on Wednesdays and everyone's prepared for the runners, especially down Abbot Kinney. There's always just a really happy energy for that hour as we're running throughout Venice.
Just a massive group of every single young person in Venice just running the streets and talking and having a presence. So everyone knows what Venice Run Club is, especially if they're in Venice. They see us, and it's a presence that won't go unknown.